Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah. Yeah, it's your boy E-Man. Falcons Fandemic, we on that plan. All the hype in the city, let me break it down. Atlanta Falcons, wear the crown. Cruising down Peachtree in my Falcons gear. Pockets on the speakers, E-Man's here. Covering the news, all the buzz on the block. Fandemic family, yeah, we can't be stopped, yeah.
The Atlanta Falcons defense was the star of the show in this week 2 matchup against the Minnesota Vikings. The top plays from critical interceptions to relentless quarterback pressure led to a dominant 22-6 victory. I'm not gonna say dominant. It was we just eased our way on into that thing. We did what we needed to do. We got into the red zone, couldn't do exactly what we wanted to do, but the defense held it down. And today, guys, we're breaking down the suffocating performance that held the Vikings to just 6 points. And we're going to see how the Falcons use exotic fronts and force key turnovers to completely dismantle the Vikings offense. What's up, my Falcon family, my Dirty Bird Nation? You know what it is. Welcome back to another episode of Atlanta Falcons Fandemic, the show built for the fans, by the fans, where the heartbeat of the Dirty Bird is faithful, where my fellow Fandemics never waver and their passion never dies. I'm your Falconhologist, Manuel McFarland, the true and trusted voice for the diehard Falcon fans who live and breathe this team. Guys, we're going to break down these top defensive plays against the Minnesota Vikings. That single violent moment, that sack, was a preview of the entire night. Welcome to Sunday Night Football, prime time. You know, in a place where the crowd noise was a weapon for the opponent, the home field advantage was an advantage. It's supposed to be. It was supposed to be a fortress for the Vikings. The Vikings actually were riding high into the home opener with rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy, looking to capitalize on a thrilling comeback win against the Chicago Bears in week 1. But tonight, they just weren't playing against another team. They were playing against a storm, the defense of the Atlanta Falcons. This wasn't a game won with a dazzling offense. This was a mugging, a 22-6 beatdown orchestrated by one unit and one unit alone, the Atlanta Falcons defense. Now, granted, the special teams was 180% different than week 1. So the special team had a hand in on this, but we're not talking about the special teams today. I'll say that for another video. But today we're talking about the masterclass in pressure, punishment, demoralization. By the end of the night, the Vikings were held to a meager, get this, 143 total yards. McCarthy was sacked 6 times, hit consistently, and turned the ball over 3 times himself as the Falcons forced 4 total turnovers. This is the story of that dominance. We're counting down the top 5 defensive plays that define the Falcons' masterpiece of destruction in Minnesota. We're going to start at number 5, the red zone wall. Every defense lives by that motto, bend but don't break. But in the second quarter, the Falcons showed they weren't interested in bending either. The Falcons had put together a drive together. They were deep in Atlanta territory. The U.S. Bank Stadium crowd was roaring, and they had a 1st and goal from the Atlanta 2-yard line. This was the moment Minnesota was supposed to punch it in and seize control. What happened next was a masterclass in defensive grit. Jeff Albrecht had this team prepared well, ready to showcase what the future holds for this young team. But on 1st down, a run stuffed at the line. 2nd down, an incomplete pass under heavy pressure. Then on 3rd and goal, the pass rush that had been simmering all night came to a boil. Arnold Ebiketie exploded off the edge, dropping the quarterback for a huge sack and a 7-yard loss. Think about that. 1st and goal from the 2. The easiest scoring opportunity in football turned into a long field goal attempt. The Vikings got on board finally for sure, but it felt like a total failure for the offense and a momentum victory for the Atlanta defense. They didn't just hold the line. They shoved the offense backwards and sent a clear message. There will be no easy yards tonight. Let's go on to number 4. The youth movement has arrived. Hats off to the defense, guys. 5 sacks, 5 total sacks in the first half. We haven't done that since 2009. Last 5 series of the game for Minnesota, guys, check this. The last 5 series for Minnesota went like this: punt, punt, fumble, punt, interception. You couldn't put together a better series of plays for the defense. Xavier Watts with an INT, Billy Bowman with the INT, and a host of pressures. I stopped counting from Jalen Walker, Brandon Dorless, James Pierce, Caden Ellis. And again this week, guys, a steal from the free agency, Divine Diablo, playing like he's playing for an extended contract. That red zone stand wasn't an isolated incident. It was a symptom of how much bigger problem for Minnesota than we were. All night long, the Falcons' pass rush was a relentless, suffocating force. And this wasn't just the usual suspects. This was the official coming out party for Atlanta's hype, young talent. It's what we expected. It's why Terry Fontenot drafted the way he did. Can we taste what he's cooking now? It was a nightmare from every angle. Second-year lineman Brandon Dorless was a consistent piece, notching a sack and a half on the night. His relentless motor overwhelmed the Vikings' interior line. And he wasn't alone. The entire defensive front created chaos. You could feel the impact of the other young guys like Ruka Rohoro, James Pierce Jr., who was consistently collapsing the pocket and disrupting plays, even when they didn't get the sack. Defensive coordinator Jeff Albrecht's game plan was brilliant. He tormented the Vikings offensive line with exotic looks and aggressive fronts. They didn't just figure out who to block or where the pressure was coming from. The result, J.J. McCarthy was running for his life all night long. This wasn't just about individual plays. It was about a collective suffocating pressure that broke the will of the opposing offense. The defense made coaching very easy for Raheem and the coaching staff tonight. Now, granted, Zach Robinson still has a couple things that he needs to work on, but the defense held it down for a defensive-minded head coach. Made coaching very easy, made decisions that were made very easy. We took chances on allowing the defense to make plays for us, and they came through. They delivered. Number 3, my man A.J. Terrell, the shutdown corner. For the second week in a row, A.J. Terrell has taken on the top receiver, shutting them down. Week 1, he took on Mike Evans of Tampa Bay. Mike Evans did have a couple of catches, but nothing nowhere near to what Mike Evans is accustomed to. And then here he comes this week, taking on the very reliable Justin Jefferson, the big playmaker for Minnesota. And up until the point he got hurt, we didn't hear Justin Jefferson name like that. But if the pass rush was the drumbeat of this performance, the secondary provided the lightning. In the second quarter, with the game still tight at 6-3, Pro Bowl cornerback A.J. Terrell delivered a moment of pure lockdown coverage that changed the game. Walk with me through the situation. 3rd and long, with the Vikings desperate for a big play to get to their offense moving. McCarthy took the snap and uncorked a deep pass down the sideline intended for superstar receiver Justin Jefferson. It was a 50-50 ball, to say the least. The kind of throw where an elite receiver is supposed to have the advantage. But Terrell was having none of it. He mirrored Jefferson's route perfectly, stayed in his hip pocket the entire way, and timed his leap flawlessly. He went up, he high-pointed the ball, batting it away at the last second. It wasn't an interception, but it might as well have been. He completely erased the best player on the field on a critical down. The pass fell incomplete. The Vikings were forced to punt, and the message was sent. Even the superstars weren't safe that night or tonight. It was a clinic on how to be a shutdown corner. Hats off to Mr. A.J. Terrell. Now, number 2, the soul-crushing sacks. There are sacks and then there are statements. Midway through the second quarter, with the Vikings offense looking completely lost, the Falcons, gridiron gladiators, started a nightmare for the Vikings offense. Yeah, gridiron gladiators. I came up with that name for them. We have the grit blitz, and now we have the gridiron gladiators. Now, shout out to Ryan, the historian. We had a very good enlightening conversation over at Atlanta Falcons LLC, and we say we're not going to quite compare them to the Grits Blitz. The Grits Blitz was a monster in itself, but we can give them our own name and hope that they can solidify that name in history. The Falcons Gridiron Gladiators for the defense. The stat sheet tells the story. 6 sacks, 4 turnovers, and they held the Vikings to just 6 points. 6 points, no touchdowns. That's a different level of play. The pressure was coming from everywhere. You had the second-year guys, Brandon Dorless and Ruko Rohoro, making their presence felt. Like I said, Dorless had 1.5 sacks on the night. The rookie class was just flat out phenomenal. First-round pick James Pierce Jr. got his first NFL sack, as did Jalen Walker. Guys, look out for Jalen in the future. Although he didn't get with the 1 sack, I'm not gonna say but the one, but he's going to become a force. He's going to come up a force. He showed his ability last night. This defensive line was just an absolute nightmare for Minnesota's offensive front, which, by the way, was already dealing with a rash of injuries. But we took advantage of it, as what any defense should do. They were without Christian Darrisaw, and then they lost their fill-in, Justin School, and Senator Ryan Kelly during the game. It was a tough night for them, but you still have to give credit where it's due. The Falcons' defensive front won the trenches decisively, and this is what we've been talking about for the better part of 3 years. Winning that fight in the trenches. And it wasn't just the sacks. The secondary was making plays too. We saw rookie safety Billy Bowman Jr. with a high difficulty interception on Jalen Naylor. And then to ice the game, fellow rookie safety Xavier Watts came out of nowhere to pick off McCarthy in the 4th quarter. It was an exclamation point on a truly dominant performance. This is the type of performance that we need to close games week after week. This is the type of performance that we need to get in the game, stay in the game. This is the type of performance that the offense has to build upon. This is a defense that looks completely different. The offense has to feed off the energy of this defense. They've unlocked it, unleashed their youth, and it's paying off big time. Raheem Morris has to be thrilled at what he saw. It's a new identity for this team. I'm almost scared to even question what would happen if Kobe Bryant was a part of this young arsenal. Would it be the same, or would it be more of the same of this? Now, the number one play that put the dagger in the Minnesota Vikings is what we just talked about. Fellow rookie Xavier Watts. Every dominant performance needs a finishing move. After the Falcons offense finally punched in the game's only touchdown to make it 22-6 late in the 4th quarter, the defense stepped on the field one last time to deliver the final decisive blow. At that point, the game was functionally over, but Minnesota had to try something. On first down, a desperate J.J. McCarthy dropped back and looked deep for Justin Jefferson. It was a prayer, an attempt to create a last-minute miracle. But on this night, the Falcons defense was not having any of that. We were answering all the prayers. The pass was overthrown, a final weary mistake from a quarterback who had been battered all evening. And waiting for it, camping under like he was catching a punt, was rookie safety Xavier Watts. He secured the easy interception, his first in the NFL, the second pick of the night for McCarthy, and the fourth turnover forced by the Atlanta defense. There was something truly poetic about it. The hype rookie quarterback trying to force a pass to arguably the best receiver in the NFL, and the play is ended by another rookie on defense. It was the final explanation point. The interception wasn't the most violent play, but it was the most definitive. It was the final signal that the game was truly over. The onslaught was complete, and the night belonged entirely to the Atlanta Falcons. 6 sacks, 4 turnovers, only 6 points, and 143 total yards. Let that sink in. This was more than a win. It was a declaration. The Atlanta Falcons' hungry defense showed the entire league they are dominant. They are a dominant force, ready to compete with anyone. If you want more breakdown of this suffocating Falcons defense, make sure you hit the like button, guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Turn on the notification and let us know in the comments which defensive play was your favorite. But from the opening whistle to the final turnover, the Falcons controlled this game through the defense. They walked into a hostile primetime environment and put on an absolute clinic. While the offense did its job, this 22-6 victory was earned through pure defensive will, showcasing a unit that looks poised to terrorize quarterbacks for the rest of the 2025 season. So, guys, join us next week as we break down the next matchup against the who we have next, the Carolina Panthers, and continue to analyze the rise of the Atlanta Falcons. Hopefully, the offense will be able to come in over the weeks, fix the red zone issues, because we still have a concern there. I would surely like to see this this offense open up like we expected to. We know we got the weapons. We know we have Drake London. We got Darnell Mooney back. Casey Washington, when he comes back, he'll be available. We got Kadero Hodge. We still have Bijan, who's running his life out. Who else do we have? Tyler Algier, Kyle Pitts, who's been playing balls out. So we have the weapons. Zach Robinson has to get used to utilizing them, but we have plenty of them, even standing on the sideline. If he wants to, he can throw in Felipe Franks. Okay, I'm stretching it, y'all. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, join us next week as we break down the matchup between no, not next week, in a couple of days rather, as we break down the matchup with the Carolina Panthers and Braylon Trice. You know who I'm not, Braylon Trice. You guys know who that quarterback is, Bryce Young, and he had a pretty good, decent game yesterday in a losing effort. They're 0-2 as well as the Saints. They lost yesterday as well. They're 0-2. So, and I'm not going to talk about the loss that we have, right? But that loss could come back to have significant implications going down later in the season. So, guys, stay up with me. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate you all my subscribers for the support. As always, guys, always continue to rise up. All right, Pandemic family, that's a wrap for this episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in and sharing your passion for our Atlanta Falcons with us. Your energy and support are what make this community truly special. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a 2 thumbs up. Leave a comment below with your thoughts, and of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our exciting content. And seriously, don't forget to hit that notification bell right next to that subscribe button so that you'll be the first to know when we drop new videos about our beloved Dirty Birds. And as always,
Continue to rise up, and we'll see you in the Super Bowl.